Pierre-Joseph Proudhon, a 19th-century French philosopher, had strong views on the status of property. His perspective was rooted in the concept of the sovereign right of property, which has its origins in Roman law. According to Proudhon, the proprietor, or the owner of the property, had the absolute right to do as he pleased with his property. This included the freedom to use and abuse the property, provided that the owner ultimately submitted to state-sanctioned title. This perspective on property was deeply intertwined with Proudhon's understanding of the relationship between individuals and the state in the context of land ownership. Proudhon's views on property were heavily influenced by his critique of capitalism and the prevailing economic system of his time. He was a vocal critic of the concentration of property and wealth in the hands of a few, which he saw as a source of inequality and exploitation. Proudhon argued that the existing system of private property perpetuated social injustice and created a divide between the propertied class and the propertyless. One of Proudhon's key ideas regarding property was his famous declaration that property is theft. This provocative statement encapsulated his belief that the accumulation of property and wealth by individuals was inherently unjust and exploitative. Proudhon's assertion challenged the traditional notion of property as a natural and absolute right, and instead, he viewed it as a form of theft from the collective society. In Proudhon's vision, the ideal status of property would involve a system of mutualism, where individuals could possess and use property for their own benefit, but within the framework of equitable and non-exploitative relationships with others. He advocated for a form of property ownership that prioritized the collective good and the well-being of the community, rather than the aggrandizement of individual wealth and power. Furthermore, Proudhon envisioned a reorganization of property relations that would lead to the decentralization of ownership and the establishment of worker-controlled enterprises. He proposed the idea of possession as opposed to property, where individuals would have access to resources and means of production based on their need and contribution, rather than exclusive ownership for profit.